Hello everyone. Today I'll be sorry, myself Ghazala Ansari. I'll be presenting my topic for today, which is sociology in education with respect to the concept, nature, and scope of educational sociology. So this presentation explores how education and society influences one another, how social values, structures, and institutions shape what happens in school, and how schools in turn shape the society. Education is not only about learning facts or skills, it is deeply social process, the way we teach, learn, and interact in schools. Um, it also reflects the kind of society we live in and the kind of society we wish to build. So we come on to our very first slide, which deals with the main objectives of this study. So we will be studying about, we'll be understanding the key theories such as functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism and how they explain education. The next is to study school inequality, whether education in India reduces or reproduces social inequality. And the next one is to suggest practical measures to make education more equitable and inclusive. So the central idea is to understand relationship between education and society and how the relationship can be used to promote justice, equality, and social progress. Um, Now we come on to understanding sociology with meaning and its origin. Sociology is the scientific study of human society and social behavior. It studies how people interact in groups, how social institutions like family, religion, and education function, and how they shape human lives. It emerged in the 19th century with thinkers like Auguste Comte, who wanted to apply scientific methods to study the society, and Emily Durkheim, who studied social facts, the collective values, and norms that guide human behavior. As society evolved through industrialization and modernization, sociology began focusing on issues like inequality, education, and culture, areas that are still highly relevant today. We have different definitions coming from different thinkers. Emily Durkheim in the 20th century studied about the social facts, collective ways of acting, thinking, and feeling that exist outside individuals and exert coercive power over them. Whereas Kimball Young in the 20th century focused on the specific study of group behavior, analyzing how individuals interact within social units and how these interactions shape larger societal norms. Then Maury Cole in the late 20th century emphasized the intricate focus on social relations and interactions, exploring the micro level dynamics and their impact on macro social patterns in modern texts. Defining core sociological principles at its core, sociology is the scientific study of society focusing on human behavior with social context. So the key aspects includes the nature of social relationships and the human behavior. It also investigates the origin and growth and development of human society. Also analyzes individual as social rather than solely biological entities. Educational sociology uh, that bridges the gap between the theory and the practice. So it's called as the bridging theory and practice. Educational sociology specifically examines how educational institutions and processes are shaped by societal forces, and in turn, how education influences the society. It delves into social determinants of learning, curriculum development, and teacher student interactions, and how these aspects reflect broader societal values and structures. So, this field is crucial for understanding educational inequalities and fostering more equitable learning environments. Sociology is a specialized branch of sociology that applies sociological principles directly to education. It studies how social forces such as culture, economy, politics, and family background affect what happens in classrooms. Its major goals includes understanding how education shapes our society and how society shapes the education, applying sociological theory to solve real-world educational problems, encouraging community involvement in schools to promote social development, viewing education as a means of social progress and national growth. In simple words, educational sociology is a bridge between social theory and educational practices, ensuring that education serves both individual and societal needs. Different scholars have viewed educational sociology in unique ways. The very first one is George Payne in 1928 called it the science explaining how social institutions influence education and individual development. Emily Durkheim, 1956, said education is society way of transmitting its collective norms and values. Ottaway in 1962 viewed it as a study of the reciprocal relationship between society and education. Good defined it as the study of how people live and learn in social groups. So all these definitions agree that education is a social institution. It reflects society's values but also helps to transform them. Now comes the nature of educational sociology. The nature of educational sociology can be understood through four key ideas. Sociological analysis, it studies how social groups, cultures, and institutions impact education. Then comes social problem solving, it helps identify and address social issues like inequality, discrimination, and dropouts. Then comes culture and education. It explores how education preserves, transmits, and enriches cultures. Application of principles. It uses sociological insights to improve both individual and community development. Thus, educational sociology is both theoretical and practical, helping us understand and improve the social role of education. Now we come on to educational sociology's characteristics. So, educational sociology has several important characteristics. It is an applied science. It is an applied science which using theory to solve real educational problems. Then it takes scientific approach, relying on evidence and research rather than assumptions. It has a social orientation, studying how education interacts with the family, economy, and practices. Then it has a dynamic a discipline which allows us to continuously evolve with societal changes, reflecting shifts in educational paradigms and social structures. And most importantly, it has practical value. It guides policymakers and teachers to make informed, socially responsible decisions. Scope of educational sociology. The scope of educational sociology is vast. It includes socialization and cultural transmission, how education passes on traditions, norms, and values. Then comes social inequality and mobility, how education can either maintain or reduce class and gender gaps. Then comes educational policy, how social conditions affect the curriculum and the school governance. Then comes the teacher-student dynamics and the roles, how classroom interactions reflect social roles and expectations. So it helps us to see education as a microcosm of society, a small reflection of the larger world outside. So, what are the different major areas of study in educational sociology? So, there are several social institutions and education, like family, religion, and community, all influence how and what students learn. Education as a social process, wherein schools help transmit culture and prepare individuals to live in the society. Education and socialization. Education shapes attitudes, behavior, and social participation. Then comes education and social stratification, which is it examines how class, caste, and gender affects access to education. Education and social changes also. It studies about how education promotes modernization, equality, and development. Then comes role of teacher and school. So both are seen as the agents of social change and moral development. Through these areas, educational sociology helps us make education more inclusive and just relevant. So, what's the interrelationship between sociology and education? Sociology and education share a profound reciprocal relationship, constantly influencing and reinforcing one another. So one is dependent on the other. So, the dynamic interplay is fundamental to understanding societal development. Wherein we talk about sociology's contribution to education, so it provides insights and social structures that affects the educational processes. It aids in formulating educational goals aligned with with broader societal needs. It informs policy making, effectively addressing the existing educational inequalities. Whereas if we talk about education's role in the society, it acts as a key vehicle for promoting social change and individuals' mobility. It ensures social order and cohesion through the transmission of shared values. It also stimulates economic development and strengthens national integration. So, what are the different sociological theories and education? So, the very first one is the functionalist perspective, which is the uh, which is given by Durkheim and Parsons. Education maintains social stability by teaching shared values and preparing peoples for role in society. It promotes unity and social order. The next one is conflict perspective, which is given by Marx, Bowles, and Gintis. Education can also reproduce inequality, favoring the rich and powerful while limiting opportunities for marginalized groups. The next one is symbolic interactionist perspective, which is given by Maid and Blomer. This theory looks at daily interactions in classrooms, how teacher expectations, labels like gifted or slow, and peer influence shapes self-concept and achievement. Each theory gives us a different lens to understand the complex social world of education. To conclude, we have educational sociology gives us the tools to see education not just as schooling, but as a social process that both mirrors and molds the society. Through functionalism, we understand how education creates order and unity. And through symbolic interactionism, we realize how everyday communication shapes student identity. By combining these perspectives, educators and policymakers can design systems that are more inclusive, fair, and transformative. Education, therefore, is not merely about teaching lessons, it's about building the society itself. Thank you so much, teachers. So that was my presentation. Thank you so much.